Say hey. So welcome to the Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. This is going to be our November update. Down here on the east side of our property line. So we've had at least 4 or 5 nights of freezing. A couple nights got down to 25 degrees. And most of our garden's done, so we started our winter crop in there. And we'll walk by there and show you what that looks like. And this little trail here, right here where I'm walking, is I call this camera 1, where we have a game camera where the deer come up and eat. So I got some shots of some big bucks right in this spot, so I'll try and put a couple clips of those in here. And I'll put corn down on this log. Raccoons come and eat it off of this log. Got another big log that's down on the west side, and I have a lot better quality camera over there, and there's a lot better shots from over there. I got that camera a couple weeks ago. It's a Browning Recon Force Extreme. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, here's this camera right here. This little cheap camera is only about 70 bucks, so you get what you pay for on these cameras. So we built this little bridge a couple years ago, and this year we've got a lot of rain, so the water's really standing in here, which isn't normal. Usually a couple days after it's rained, this is all dried up. Another thing I did on my game cameras, I connected them up to a big battery. I was going through a lot of AA batteries, and they're about 14 bucks for 16 batteries, and each one of these cameras takes 8 batteries. So I got some big rechargeable batteries in there, and they last a long time. In fact, I haven't even had to charge them up yet. So let's head on up the hill, and we'll show you what we got going on up there. So I have expanded the compost pit. I got over here and dug this out right here. This compost on the right, this is from this year, and that's all garden and chicken manure. So that's all that's in there. There's no other dirt or anything. This pile here is 2 years old. It's got a little bit of everything, a lot of paper materials, native dirt. It starts out looking like that pile right there, or this down here. It's just not very good dirt here. There's a lot of grass clippings, leaves, you name it's in there. So it's getting better. So I plan someday to have a ground level garden out here somewhere and till it up, mix this in it, and have some rows of corn or something like that. And right here, this new spot, all the paper waste is going to go here, and I'll break open those compostable bags and put a little bit of dirt on it to speed it up a little bit. Had to expand my electric fence because it took more wire to get around it. The fruit trees, some of them still have a few leaves left. I think that's a peach right there. Let's go into the garden. Let's see how much rain we got. I was out of town the week it rained. Looks like we got about 3/4 of an inch. Almost 3/4 of an inch. Filled up that wheelbarrow. All the zinnias are done. All the cypress vine, it's all dead. That's going to be no fun pulling all that out of there. So before the freeze, I cut off all the comfrey and gave it to the chickens. There was a big comfrey plant right there, and we shut the cold frame. This comfrey in here came up after I transplanted some out of there. Some more came up from roots, so we just let that go. So there's quite a bit of 2 big plants in there, and it's doing good in that cold frame. But what I noticed is the comfrey's pretty cold hardy. So I had cut all these off the week before, one day at a time, giving them to the chickens in anticipation of it freezing out. But look how much it's come back. So that comfrey's fairly cold hardy. So you can see we got some little tunnels there in the garden. Let's go check it out. This is impossible to do one-handed. Okay, so we tilled this all up with our little Greenworks battery powered tiller, and it did a nice job. So we planted all of our cold weather crops. So we've got lettuce and spinach. So you can see some of it coming up in there, in the shadow there. But this is spinach right here, and this is mustard in here. And the celery's still going. It's some pretty hardy stuff. It's getting a little yellow right here, so maybe time to harvest this celery. I don't know. Need someone to chime in and let me know when you harvest your celery. But the stalks down in there are starting to form fairly decent. They're just not big like the ones that you see in the grocery store. If I can get my camera down there. They're about half that size. But I guess I could cover it up and nurse it along a little longer. This here's a lettuce mixture, and I didn't plant this in a row, it's just spread around in there. Some right there. I didn't get the eggplant harvested before the freeze, so we lost those. That's okay with me, I don't eat them anyway. This is a salad bowl lettuce here, and just some other varieties of lettuce. So let's look in these tunnels and see how they're doing. So I put these little rebar pieces in here to let it get a little ventilation so it doesn't get too hot in there on these days that it gets up to in the 60s. It makes it pretty hot inside there. We may need to water it, I don't know, we'll check it and see. Boy, it's nice and warm in there. It's about 65 degrees right now. Okay, up on this end it's not sprouting as much as the other end. There's a few in there. There's a little row right there. Down on this end it's doing pretty good. In fact, all these are growing about twice as much as the ones that aren't covered. So having that little extra warmth really makes a difference. It's moist, it could probably use a little bit of water. Let's check on the other side. We can just feel the warmth come out of that when you open it up. This clover's doing good, it sure does like it. That looks like spinach there, and we've got some lettuce back here. Mescaline. That's what's over here, mescaline. Yeah, it's doing good in there. Try to get it without my shadow. This is spinach right in here, I think. What clovers are blooming. If I leave this open, there'll be some honeybees coming in here for long. Okay, let's go check on the chickens, and we'll cut some of that comfrey off and give to them. I'm gonna grab this right here because I think it's just gonna freeze at some point. No Homestead update is complete without the slow motion comfrey throw. These golden sex links, they lay a lot nicer egg than these buff Orpingtons. Orpington eggs is a little lighter colored and it's a little more chalky, and the golden sex link eggs are darker brown. The Orpington eggs are a light brown and the sex link eggs are a darker brown. We had a couple double yolkers this last week, one from each type. Let's go check out egg production. Looks like they laid them all in the same spot. So looks like the Orpingtons, so this is an Orpington egg. See how it's a lighter color? These are the sex links eggs. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Nice little clutch of eggs there. I got something down by the pond we'll check out real quick. Check out these watermelons. So that's how they take care of a watermelon. They eat it down to the rind. The bees would drink the liquid down, then the chicken would come by and eat the flesh down till it got liquid again, then the bees would suck it back down. So they just went back and forth till they cleaned them all up. There's nothing left but the skin. So I came down here last night to go get my game camera chips from this west side, and right here's my trail heading into the woods, and this is what I discovered. We got us a dang gopher here on the pond dam, so that's going to be a fun video to make. Okay, this weekend, it's a 3-day weekend, Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, all you veterans. But we're going to put up our electric fence for the skunks. Let's get a close-up of these bees if I can, without getting stung. Okay, I'm pressing my luck. I'm getting back. So on the beehives, we've got all the entrances reduced down to just that little entrance to help keep them warm. All the screen bottom boards have their insert put in, so there's no airflow from the bottom. And a few of the hives, 6 of these double deeps, that one with the kind of blue top there on the end, that's one. We put sugar on them, and there's a 1 3/4 inch slice of sugar on top of those because they didn't weigh a whole lot, and some of them didn't weigh much at all, which means there's not much honey in there for them to live off of through the winter. So that's how bees stay warm in the winter. They consume their honey, they flex their bee muscles, and that makes warmth. So that one right there with the brick on it, that's got honey on it, sugar on it. You can see that kind of wood colored shim there at the top with a little screen there, so that's sugar feed. So we did that to 6 of those, and for the tiny swarms, nukes, they both have sugar on them. See if I can get in here without getting stung. So there they are. That's a tiny swarm 2019 and another little swarm combined with them. And over here is hive number 1 and 5 combined. So it's just a little colony, and this right here is sugar about that thick because they didn't have much honey stores. It's fairly warm today. Yeah, I forgot my pocket knife down here last week. There it is. Wondered where that went. So that's what's going on with the bees. They're pretty active today, doing a lot of cleansing flights, which means they go out and take a bee break. So just kind of like when you're driving down the highway, you need to stop and go take care of things. That's what they're doing. And they're also flying out foraging a little bit when they can find stuff. You can see they're pretty active. All right, let's head up to the big construction project and let's see how that's going. So here is my drone launching pad. I'm trying to shoot a time lapse and take a shot every time there's a little activity and do a time lapse of the construction. So I take it off from the same spot every time. I go 50 feet high and aim my gimbal down the same angle every time, so it doesn't look like the camera's moving around trying to do a time lapse. So, but the problem with that is I was out of town last week when they started framing, and man, bam, they did this in 2 days. So pretty much the whole bottom is framed. These beams here are the joists, because there's a pretty good span in the living area to go across there. And got some of these big old things. I think this is going to go underneath the upstairs room, maybe. I don't know. Or some big long laminated beams. So yeah, it rained right after they delivered all this. So okay, this is the front door, which is the wrong size. We got to get that fixed. So here's, over this direction's 2 bedrooms and a bathroom in the middle. This is kind of living area, fireplace, breakfast nook. There's going to be a big sliding door here, kitchen island, kind of open from the kitchen to the living area. And this is my office, and nobody's allowed in there but me. And this is a stairway that's going to go up to the room upstairs, So that little doorway there is just for a under the stairs pantry right there. And we got some nice windows here, so if you're cooking in the kitchen, you can see out. This will be our view. This is what we call the breakfast nook. So that'll be the view out that window. We had a window here and we took it out because we didn't want the neighbors there watching us eating breakfast. And this is kind of neat the way we did our master bedroom and utility and all that. So this is a utility room, washer dryer, and opposite this is a doorway, is our master closet. So when we do our laundry, the closet's right here, and this is the master bathroom. So you've got shower, toilet, tub, and then you go into the closet. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. And then this is the master bedroom here. So this will be our view from our master bedroom. Be able to look at the beehives while I'm laying in bed. And then heading out into the garage. This is the garage. That big old header board. So my last house, I had a 2-door garage, and man, that was a pain. I hated that because you had that pillar in the middle. So I said, I want 1 door, and there it is. Come here, Barky. Come here. Come here. What's the matter? Did I scare you? Huh? Did I scare you? So yeah, they did all this in 2 days. Framed all that up. So that's what's going on here in November. Heading into Thanksgiving. I'm just going to do one update a month, unless something really exciting happens, which that's probably not very likely. So that's it. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you would, and before you leave, be sure and subscribe. We did hit our 4,000 subscribers last week, I think, or the week before, which is pretty unbelievable. So thank you all for subscribing and sticking around and watching the videos. So we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.